Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of David Anthony Lyles. Lyles was shot and killed on Saturday, December 18, 2004, in the 900 block of West 62nd Street in the Vermont-Slauson neighborhood of South LA, according to LA County coroner records. Travis Eugene George was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. In December 2004, victim David Anthony Lyles was shot outside of a birthday party held by Mr. Hammond on West 62nd Street in Los Angeles. Mr. Hammond's neighbor, Masik, had gone to the party and returned home. At approximately 8:30 p.m., Masik heard 8 gunshots in rapid succession coming from the street. Masik went outside and saw the victim. The victim screamed, "I'm hit." Masik saw the victim looking in the direction of 2 males running towards Menlo Avenue. One was wearing a red t-shirt and the other was wearing a white t-shirt. The victim said, "Those are the motherfuckers that shot me," and fired a gun at the 2 men. The men got into a car and fled the scene. The victim received 4 gunshot wounds, including 1 to the neck, and died later that evening. Hammond was outside his house when he heard 10 to 11 gunshots from a few feet away. Hammond heard the victim scream that he was shot and saw him stumble into the middle of the street. Hammond saw 2 men running toward Menlo Avenue. One was wearing a white t-shirt. Approximately 10 minutes later, around 8:40 p.m., Ms. Lawrence, who lived on 81st Street and was at home with her cousin Smith, heard moaning and groaning outside. Lawrence and Smith went outside and saw defendant, a friend of Smith's, shirtless and bleeding from a gunshot wound to his chest. Smith took off his own shirt and tied it around defendant's wound, while Lawrence called 911. Smith put his bloody shirt in a trash bag in the front yard. LAPD officer James Carroll responded to Ms. Lawrence's call. Defendant told Officer Carroll that a car pulled up and fired 3 shots at him, but he didn't know who the shooter was. When asked where the shooting occurred, defendant pointed in different directions. Defendant claimed that he was going to visit his grandmother in the area of 82nd Street and had been visiting a friend on 81st Street. When Officer Carroll asked the name of defendant's friend and where he lived, defendant said he didn't know. Officer Carroll and several other officers investigated the area where the defendant claimed that he was shot and didn't find any blood, bullets, casings, or evidence of shots fired, nor did they find a bloody t-shirt. People in the neighborhood said they had not seen or heard anything. Meanwhile, other police detectives investigated the scene of victim Lyle's shooting on West 62nd Street. They found blood drops a few houses down from Hammond's house and 5 bullet casings nearby. None of the casings were fired from the victim's gun. Police Detective Frank Alvarez interviewed defendant at the hospital. Defendant told Detective Alvarez he was walking home from Lawrence's house when a car drove by and someone shot him, but he didn't see the shooter. Defendant said that he was wearing a white t-shirt with no writing on it and didn't know what happened to it. He admitted he was a member of the Hoovers. Detective Alvarez went to Lawrence's house and found a trash bag hanging from a fence. The bag contained 3 shirts, a white shirt with the words crabs and slobs with a hole in the upper left portion, a muscle shirt, and a black shirt. Smith identified the black shirt as the one he applied to defendant's wound. DNA test revealed the blood on the black shirt matched one of the blood stains at the scene of the shooting, which matched the saliva sample from the defendant. Police Detective Robert Quiroz testified as a gang expert. He knew from his past contacts and defendant's tattoos that defendant was an active member of the Hoovers. The Hoovers did not associate with either Bloods or Crips. They used the derogatory term crabs and slobs for the Crips and Bloods. Their territory was around 81st Street and Lawrence's house. The neighborhood where the victim was shot was in the territory of the Harbor Park Brims, an offshoot of the Bloods and rivals of the Hoovers. The prosecutor asserted defendant, as an Hoover gang member, went into rival gang territory with a shirt that said "fuck crabs and slobs," which was confrontational and antagonistic. The prosecutor contended defendant either shot or stood with the shooter, with defendant's blood placing him at the scene, and that the victim perceived defendant as one of his assailants. Following the trial, the jury found defendant guilty of first-degree murder and found the remaining firearm and gang allegations true. The court sentenced him to 25 years to life for the murder, plus 25 years to life for the firearm enhancement. In 2018, defendant filed a petition seeking relief of his first-degree murder conviction. After a full briefing, the court granted defendant's petition and vacated his first-degree murder conviction. The prosecution elected not to retry defendant. In 2019, the court resentenced him to 15 years to life for second-degree murder, plus 25 years for the firearm enhancement. David Anthony Lyles Jr. was 29 years old at the time of death.